Okay, so today I'm going to be doing my 10-hour service on my Arctic Cat 500 XT ATV, and part of the service involves engine oil and filter changes. So I've got this oil change kit from Arctic Cat, which is about 75 bucks with shipping and taxes and stuff like that. Let's see what's inside it. A standard oil filter for the Arctic Cat. I have two bottles of oil, and that's about it. So these are the instructions. Basically, park the ATV, loosen the stick, remove the plug, use the filter range, apply oil to the filter O-ring, and drain, etc., etc. Start the engine, keep it warm, and check it again. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to first start the engine. So here we are. I have my Arctic Cat 500 XT. You can see that I've hooked up a Arctic Cat charger to it, so it's always has a charged battery. And I started up for 5 minutes. I switched on. So right now it's cold, so we're letting it warm up for a bit and wait until the RPMs hit about 1300 or so. When it's warmed up, you can see the RPMs are climbing. We'll give it about 5 minutes. Okay, so now it's been idling for a while. RPMs are 1300 about, so the engine's warmed up. And now time to drain the oil. So I switch it off. And first of all, I have to remove the seat cover, which is this thing. And there's a little latch at the back, which I flip up. And get this out of the way. And we can remove the side cover next. These are basically just snap off panels, so snap them off. Back. And you can see how these are held in. They're just held in with these plastic things. Move this away. So this is my oil drain pan type thing. It's basically just like an old paint can. So what have we got here? You can see the oil filter, the old one, which I'm going to remove and replace. And below that will be the oil drain plugs. So I have to go down there. Okay, so here we are between the bottom of the Arctic Cat. And obviously the oil drain plug has to be in the most inconvenient space possible, which is right at the bottom here. So this is me going in from the left hand side of the Arctic. The filter though is conveniently located out here, which is easy to reach, but right now the motor is pretty hot, so you don't want to burn your hand. So I drew the filter after the motor's cooled down. Meantime, I'll take a 3/4 socket and start undoing the oil filter, which actually once you break it comes up pretty easy. So hopefully I've got it positioned correctly so my drip tray gets dripped on. Now what I haven't done is, okay, so that's warm oil making a mess as usual. The joys of doing something. Okay, so that's pretty messy. You just let this thing drain. Now what you're supposed to be doing is pulling this little pluggy here, which allows air into the system, which allows it to drain more. But since it's draining pretty well right now, we'll let it keep draining for a bit. Okay, so now that the oil is drained out, I pull out this thing out here, which is the oil dipstick, and that's just to give it, so that looks okay. And that's just to let it air come and go in and drain out the last few drops. So here we have a bit of a mess because it overflowed the tray. So as usual, I have paper towels handy, which are always good, and help clean up the mess. You can see that's old oil, still dripping. Let it drain completely. And just make sure that no contaminants get into the dipstick area, because they'll go straight into your engine. This is the left hand side, so I remove both coverings from the other side as well. And the next step will be to get this oil filter, which is actually very accessible, off. Okay, so after we are done and all the oil is dripped out, let's see, this is open, and I'll put my oil filter wrench on the oil filter and basically shift it up until it's loose. Be careful of this hot engine parts. So the engine was warmed up to drain out all the oil. So you put your hand in and just and there you go. Oh, the oil filter is out. That's what the old oil filter looks like. And we can discard this one. So out with the old. And in with the new. It doesn't look too bad actually. Anyway, so you can see the oil filter ring is exposed. We lubricate it with a little bit of oil, just because that's what the manual says. It's probably good to lubricate it, so that's what I'll do. Taking a dash of oil and just distribute it on the filter. Sort of a mess, but well, what can we do? Oh. New filter goes in. Get in there. Make sure the threads are locked. Use some paper towels on it. And it's screwed back on. Okay. I tighten it up a bit. Okay, until I've made it hand tight, and then I'll take my oil filter wrench and get a few more turns. Until I can't turn it anymore. There you go. So that's my oil filter changed. Now I need to put my little nut back, which I've cleaned, so it's nice and shiny. I'll put some oil on it, and then I'll drop it back in under the ATV and lock it in place. Manual says about 16 foot-pounds, so that's what we'll do. Okay, so I've added a little bit of oil and drizzled it on this thing, which is the drain pan screw. And with a 3/4 socket, go back into the mess. It's below the RV, below the ATV, I mean. Here we go. Okay, so I put the nut back in. Take my 3/4 socket. So to see where the nut is, that's the nut. Okay. That's tight. It's gone in. Okay, so I take my socket and I just make sure it's tight. Put it on forward. Slide it in. It's tight enough. Okay, so that's tight enough. This one is back. So now we have to fill in the oil. My oil filter's back in nicely. We fill in the oil through this one here. Clean up the stick. Push it in just to check, and you can see there's no oil on it. So now we have to fill in the oil. Clean up the stick. And we start pouring in the oil. So this is the procedure for adding new oil in. I'll remove the dipstick. Basically no oil in it. And then I take the funnel out of the kit, which is this thing out here. Okay, so this thing becomes a little funnel which Arctic provides as part of the kit. Goes in like that, and then we pour the oil in straight. So that's filling the oil. And I will do a little bit at a time and just check that the oil level does not cross the full mark. So I do a little bit and then just check my oil level. That's pretty good right there. So now we can close it back up. And go in there. See that nothing leaks. Nothing is leaking. I check the oil filter, looks tight. I then fire it up. Car's up right away. RPMs look good. Nothing is leaking. And I just close up the panels and that's about it. I think do one more final oil check after the engine gets warm in about a minute or so, just to make sure the oil level is correct. If we need to top up at that point, we'll top up. And here you go again. Just did a little check. And the oil level is low. should be up to the full mark, so we will top it up. So it's a good idea to check after you warmed up the engine, because some of the oil goes into the oil filter and stuff like that, so the level drops. So some more oil and we should be good to go. So here you go, we check again, clean it all off, push it in, take it out, and it still needs a bit more. It's like it's still about half full. Yeah, you can now see that it's full. So we check again. I've put some more oil. Put it in there. And there you go. Still needs a bit more oil. So put the dipstick in there. Put the funnel in there. Add some more oil. And put the dipstick in. And there you go. Looks like it's full. You can see it's coating all the way up to the top, full mark. So it's good. Let's seal it back up. And the oil change is done. And there you go. That's how to do an oil change in Arctic Cat 500 XT.